Welcome, Wargamers, to another Tactica. Okay, so you guys have been clamoring it for a while. Finally, it's here. It's the DakkaJet. Because these things are so awesome. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. It's just sad because with flyers in 6th edition, if you bring some and the enemy does not have them, most likely they just die a horrible death. And you feel dirty inside. But anyways, if your opponent has, you agreed, it's okay. Just warn the player if you're gonna bring lots of flyers if they don't have lots of flyers themselves. But DakkaJets are fantastic. Now DakkaJets are great because they have 2 super shooters on them. High strength, decent AP, I guess. Not enough to kill power armor, but the amount of shots it can bring is insane. Now it's a plane of the WOG, so if you call your WOG or you get free WOG from a weird boy, you get double your shots. Let me say that again, double your shots. So many. And it gets better because the DakkaJet also has strafing run. So it's going to, and just like, in the movies when it's like, you see these like, little explosions in the dirt and all the pyrotechnics of movie making and stuff, but you're like, oh, that's so cool. This guy right here, all right? And so, great thing about strafing run, first of all, against ground targets, you get +1 ballistic skill. And his weapons are twin linked. So now you have 6 shots that are hitting on 4s, re-rolling. This is so good for Orks. That's like almost as good as my Ork shooting. And so it's like you have a reliable amount of shooting and has a 3-foot range gun, and so you don't have to over eagerly fly into the board. You just kind of keep on the edges and start hitting them. I'll talk about positioning in a sec. I'll show you the board, but it's fantastic. Now, there's a couple upgrades for the DakkaJet. Now, what you have to understand is that you must get 1 always. That is the extra super shooter. See, 1, 2, 3, twin linked. All right, it's only 10 points. So yeah, get it. It adds another 3 shots. So instead of 6 shots re-rolling, you get 9 shots re-rolling for only the 10 points. You have to get it. And and then when you call a WOG, you have 18 shots re-rolling. And so it's fantastic. Now, the other one, it's really optional and it kind of goes into almost list tailoring because most of the time it's not worth it. That is the Fighter Ace. Okay, this is a 10-point upgrade, so it's a little more expensive. However, against skimmers or against flyers, you're 5s to hit instead of the 4s to hit on the ground. So if you're fighting like a battle against someone who does have lots of skimmers like Eldar or Tau or even Necrons, not so much Necrons because they have such high armor on them, the DakkaJet just can't do much to them anyways. But when there's going to be lots of skimmers that you can hurt, or Dark Eldar for example, then getting Fighter Ace makes it so that you're also hitting on 4s against those skimmers. All right? So that's it can be a big deal, but a lot of the time it isn't. So in a standard, like normal list, you don't know what you're fighting, I almost always will not waste the extra, 10, 20, 30 points, depending how many DakkaJets you bring on that Fighter Ace. Because every little point is precious in Ork army, that extra little boy, extra upgrade on the battle wagon. It's just, you need all your points. Do not waste them. And more is good. And so if you skip down, it's great. But always get the extra super shooter. Always, 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 always. Did I say always? Always. Okay? Okay. I think we got it. Perfect. And you guys are just fantastic. Now you can also give them red paint job, which is debatable, but they move so fast anyways. I've never had a time where I've wanted to move that extra inch so far. It just hasn't come up. And so red paint job, the only reason you get red paint job maybe for one of the bombers. And I'll get into that in another Tactica about the bombers. But for the DakkaJet, no reason to red paint job at all. So simple enough, you fly them on, you kill people. All right, so you can't see the whole board, but basically let's say this is your board edge. All right, so now one thing you have to remember with the planes, the rules is you have to come on in a straight line, it can only straight forward. So say you move on your minimum distance of 18 from a corner and fly sideways. Now you're right here, okay? And now it's a 45 from the hull of your guns. And so you can shoot all the way over here, all the way over here. And so all of a sudden you have this big depth range of 36 inches of anything. So that's a huge area, as you can see. And you can easily adjust that by coming in a little more over here. You got all that board, you can come, because you can move up. You can fire anywhere you like. Now the advantage is if you keep on, unless you must kill something, you can come on, get something further up, but you have to move a minimum of 18 every turn. And so if you only move your minimum 18 way at the back here, then next turn, you get to move another 18, and all of a sudden you're right here. Okay, and then next turn you can start crossing over, and then you move another 18, and you can shoot the guys over here on this side of the board, because the board actually goes another 1.5 feet off camera. And so then you get 2-3 turns out of your DakkaJets, instead of you run on really quickly, you're right here, you shoot something right in front of you, you maybe get one more turn and you're over in the corner, and then you just can't turn fast enough and you have to fly off the board. And so you want to keep back and try to get as many turns of consistent shooting as possible. And sure, if you shoot 1, 2, 3 and then miss your fourth, compared to shooting 1, 2, missing your third and coming back on fourth, most likely it's gonna be the second one, but if you can shoot 3 times, it's more of the army that's dead. And so overall, your DakkaJet will be just doing the same damage, but the enemy army will be doing less damage to you. And so you wanna really optimize your playing time with the DakkaJets on the field. And if you can get them beside a building to get them some kind of a cover save so they don't have to jink and evade, so they only shoot at, they only hit on 6s. Because hitting on 6s isn't as bad because we get so many shots, but it's really precious because when you're hitting on 4s, it hurts a lot more than when you were hitting on 5s. Besides Ludas, there's no other unit in Ork Codex that comes close to being amazing anti-air. And so, I mean, Ludas just because of sheer firepower and at one higher strength than the super shooters, you know, that's really nice. But for like some things like the Chaos Flyer, our super shooters can't even hurt on the front armor. You can't even hurt the new Chaos Flyer that way. And so the strength 6 is somewhat limiting because a lot of other people have, you know, your strength 7, strength 10, all these really high strengths. And so we're somewhat limited to that as orcs. But no, do not let that dismay you. Your priority target is killing units on the ground. But if flyers do come in, you have to assess. Will killing this, or what has the most damage output? A lot of time it'll be the flyer because flyers are crazy powerful. But there may be a situation where the flyer came up too close and you know they have to move the minimum 18. They're not going to be shooting next turn. They're going to have to fly off and then come in next turn. So instead of shooting something that's not going to do immediate damage to you, maybe you could shoot something else. You know, and it's more than possible to happen. And so the flyer Tactica kind of goes in with the DakkaJet Tactica is that sometimes you don't have to kill a flyer to deal with a flyer because the flyer will deal with itself and it'll leave the board. Now these Forge World Eldar flyers that have the vector strike and they can turn, well, forget about that. But that's basically it. Bring DakkaJets, have fun with them, massacre your opponent, try not to feel too guilty afterwards. That's it. Happy wargaming. Take care.